Well, hello, everyone. Here we are once again. Betty, where are we?
Well, last time I looked at this, we were in Mexico.
That's right. We are in Mexico. We're outside of Mexico City right now. In fact, we're out by the pyramids. And here are some original original antiques
now,
that these handymen are making.
They are making. You know what? They are really neat looking, though, and I don't think they try to sell them as antiques.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You just said
years,
that.
No. Years and years ago, before they had all this stuff around the pyramids, I was out there with some friends of mine from Mexico City, and of course the people were pulling them out of the pockets.
Excuse me, can you remember that far back?
Almost. Good thing I keep a diary, huh?
I keep a diary, yeah.
Anyway, and I thought that at that point in time, I thought I was buying, the original things. But things have moved along. And, of course, there's a lot more people out there now as far as the tourists are concerned. And, in fact, look at them. They look like ants on top of the Pyramid of the Sun. Wow.
This was such an auspicious occasion that we were there in Mexico, And what you've done is sort of like an oleo of all of the things that we've seen. And what do you call that thing you put up to your eye? Kaleidoscope? Is that what it is? A kaleidoscope?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of like what this is, a kaleidoscope of all of the things that we've seen. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, that's true, because we saw so much. Yeah. And, of course, this particular day we were out at the pyramids. Now, that's the Pyramid of the Moon that you're looking at there. First time I was there 100 years ago, all of this was not excavated, but, like this, the big, broad... I want to say boulevard. Actually, I guess that's what it was, because it was a big marketplace at that time.
Actually, it's very broad for the terrain, and for actually what we're seeing here. We certainly didn't see cars going up and down. I think once in a while you would see a private tour car come by.
Yeah, but of course, and this was kind of off limits to that. If you look sometimes they've got really nice parking lots now for the buses and for private automobiles and things like that. But I'm glad that they kept it this way, and this is so wonderful, because you can now see. I mean, the excavations are still going on. In fact, in just a little bit, we're going to see an area where, and they wouldn't let me get very close to it because they are restoring some of the actual paintings that they saw, and I didn't even know that these were out here.
I love this place. I had such a good time. I went up over one of the little stiles there, that's what you like. And I found a shopping market, and it was such fun. And I like to do that anyway. And the jewelry, I bought some jewelry, not expensive at all, but in silver, which is so popular now. And then I went back and got a bunch of my people.
That's the area right there that they were doing the paintings. I'm sorry. Oh, I just wanted you to know.
Well, that's all right. What I'm saying is very important, about shopping. Right. But anyway, they were all thrilled. We all did very well that day. Great. So that adds to it.
It sure does. And now we have gone to the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and of course we are here waiting for the Holy Father to appear. And Betty, that is a beautiful carpet right there, but that is really not a carpet. No. It's made all of sand.
Isn't it amazing? I had to reach down and touch it because I thought, oh, what is this? Yeah. And you don't want to walk on it. Remember, there was one place that we did have to walk across.
Yeah, we had to walk across.
And I felt like I committed a sin.
Well, they started about 3 o'clock in the morning here with entertainment and with rosaries and lots of wonderful things that were going on. It's about 8 o'clock now. We got up around 5 o'clock so that we could catch our buses to go out to the Basilica at, I believe it was about 6 o'clock. And we had to walk probably about a mile. Anyway, because there were just so many people there for the canonization of Juan Diego. But Betty, I was so surprised that they did such a wonderful job. It was so well organized, didn't you think so?
It was absolutely fantastic, because you always kind of think when Mexico, mañana, there was just a slow,
but not here.
Loving people.
They had it
but
done
this
very
was
well.
So good. Father, I just did fathers. But when we did walk over to the Basilica, the thing that impressed me was the families that had been there all night with their little children, little babies, waiting to get a glimpse of the Holy Father.
Right. And the thing that surprised me too is that I didn't realize. Of course, you and I are very fortunate. We've seen the Holy Father several times in person, and it's not like it's an old hat thing. It's a very special occasion every time that we do. But for some of the people that were here that were I'm standing up on a chair trying to get these pictures. And when the Holy Father arrived, I looked down, and the people, Betty, were absolutely in tears. There's some of our folks there.
There's our people, yeah. We had good places. We were not inside, and actually I was glad we weren't inside, because our seats here, we had the big screen that we could see, and there were too many places inside the cathedral that it's blocked off, that you really wouldn't be able to have seen.
And although they did have a big screen, as I recall, too, inside. Now, a lot of these entertainers were from the Ballet Folklorico, which we had seen the night before in Mexico City. And, of course, they've got two groups, one that travels all around the world, and then they have a resident group as well that's there in Mexico City.
They've been here, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. No, they've come.
I think so. They've come here every year.
They've come to the Valley several times, you know. And they're so wonderful. To see all of the music from the various regions of Mexico. You get such a great flavor of so much culture that is there. Now, this is the top of the old basilica, and, you know, I thought that...
The Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Yeah, but they have restored this.
Well, it still leans some.
Well, it's going to, because Mexico City, even, you know, downtown at the Metropolitan Cathedral, it's sinking, you know, so it is going to lean a little bit. But I was surprised. Did you go inside here on that Friday that we were there that next day?
Yes, I don't miss anything. At least I try not to miss anything.
Well, I think the architecture here is absolutely beautiful, and that we can see right there. You see the sails off of the ship.
I was going to say, it looks like the ship. Is that Columbus?
No. That was there were some people that were some sailors that were saved from a disaster, and they called on Our Lady of Guadalupe to save them. Now here you can see there's the large screen, and we can see now the Holy Father is making his way to the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Look at we waved and waved. Oh my gosh.
Well, you know, there was a helicopter up there taking shots from up above too, and so that was really a very exciting thing for us to see. I mean, here we were seeing it there, and now we were also being able to see it on the large screen, and everybody's in such anticipation because the Holy Father is going to be entering the plaza in just a moment.
When he came in and we had our places, it was a mad exodus to get over by the fence.
Right.
And it was...
We were already there.
And you happened to be there. We got good seats, or good standing. Actually, you stood on the corner.
Oh, no, it was absolutely wonderful. So anyway, you can see here as the Holy Father is approaching, he's only just about a couple of blocks away now from the entrance of the Basilica. And like Betty said, there were people that have waited just all night long. The crowds are just to get a small glimpse. Now he's entering the gates here, and he's on the west side, if we can see, of the Basilica. He's going to come in, and there is a beautiful statue of Juan Diego and the Blessed Virgin, and they're actually going to take him over there first, and he's in, of course, the Pope Mobile, so they're going to drive around that, and whether he blessed that or not, I'm not quite sure. Also, surprisingly enough, and I don't have a picture of it, but there was a beautiful statue of the Holy Father himself that was there, and from his first visit to Mexico City. So it was really, really quite wonderful. And as we can see here, he's going around. That statue's on the lower left hand.
He is so loved.
Oh,
he is
very,
so
very much
loved,
so.
and it reflects in himself with his posture, with his own exuberance. It was wonderful.
I should say so. Now these here are the shots that we're taking here, and Betty's holding me up. I'm pushing me up so that I'm on top of this chair, which was not too steady, and holding the camera there so we could get another shot here of the Holy Father. And we're going to go inside the Basilica in just a little bit. We're squeezing our time here so that because this took actually quite a bit of time, of course, for the whole ceremony. It was absolutely beautiful. But we're going to join now the announcer inside the cathedrals, the Basilica. So let's listen to him now.
Now invoking the most holy Trinity, deep in Catholic faith, for the growth of the Catholic faith in this moment, our faith and Jesus Christ. Having now discussed and reflected of all those responsible and with the many Episcopal brothers, we declare and we define as saint of Juan Diego Cuautla Toatzin, and we write him.
Guardamos silencio.
The people are applauding because the Pope has just named him a saint, but and we write his name in the list, the catalog of saints, and we establish him as a saint for the entire church, who will be always honored as venerated and holy, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. It is now done.
Oh, well, Betty, that was the moment, of course, that we were all waiting for. I had never been to canonization before. Had you?
No.
Oh,
no,
it was great.
No.
Oh, and talk about wonderful things. We went out to Tlalpan to a hacienda that has been converted into a beautiful restaurant. I should say not a restaurant, but several restaurants inside, right, Betty?
Yeah.
And so we had all of our group and the other groups that were joining us. And it was this was a marvelous event.
I had such fun that night. You know what's really nice about our trips, because you can combine the humor and the piety and the joyousness
right.
and the sorrowfulness. I mean, and just get your it's just wonderful. It just lifts your spirits.
It really does. And they had the musical group that played for us. Actually, they were greeting us there, but they played for us all evening long. And then we had a lot of people that got up and voluntarily sang while we were there.
Oh my gosh, they did. And you know what Bishop said afterwards? Now, he was teasing me, of course. He says, I don't know why, Betty, you didn't invite me to come and sing. And I said, oh, sure, Bishop. I'm sure you would have done it.
Well, you know, our bishop has just published a book. And so I would think maybe we'll just leave it as him being an author instead of a singer.
Being the author, but I'm sure he could would have done a good job. But
I would imagine so.
Yeah, and I know he had fun too. It was such a good trip.
Joyous occasion. It really was. This was one of our really special trips. Of course, we don't get a chance to go to canonizations like this that often, but anyway, we did this time, and it was just really wonderful. Well, speaking about singers, we have a gentleman who we want you to hear right now. Well, Brian was one of the tour directors, and of course, he was just one of the many that sang, but I think he had the best voice of all.
Oh, I think he was good. But the funny thing is, I swear, when you give somebody a microphone, they never know when to quit. And not only that, but that he called after we got home and asked if we would send him a tape of his singing, which we were, of course, delighted to do.
Right. And of course, everybody enjoyed the dancing that we had also. I'll tell you.
Oh, I loved it.
No, you didn't at all. I can see you over there in the corner of the screen.
I had such fun.
It was fun to watch you because you were getting everybody up on the floor to dance.
I don't think I missed one of our group.
I don't think that you did either.
Dance. And even though they were reluctant, this kind of dance, there we go. This kind of dancing, you don't even have to know. All you have to do is get up and move.
And
move to the music.
Just wiggle it a little bit,
right? Yeah, it's fun.
Well, the next day we were going to head out into the areas that were east of Mexico City, and we passed both of the volcanoes, and there were two places that we wanted to visit that were shrines, and supposedly where there were other apparitions of the one where the apparition of the Blessed Virgin, and the other one where supposedly there's an apparition of Saint Michael the Archangel. Yeah. And Betty, what surprised me so much is that here we were way out in a village, really kind of on a mountaintop, but when we arrived and we parked and then we walked over to see the church, the architecture was breathtaking.
Well, Marv, this is what we find. When they build something for the Lord, they do a wonderful job. They can live in the worst conditions of all, but they'll put all their love and labor in for the Lord.
That's right. And a lot of people say, well, there's so many poor people and this, that. Well, it wasn't the poor people that actually financed these things. It was the wealthy landowners that made great gifts, of course, to the church, and that wanted some of these monuments to be there. And, of course, they wanted them also for the rest of the general population and for you and I to enjoy as well.
Well, I'm tickled that they have one for St. Michael the Archangel. I've tried to revive that prayer to St. Michael. Defend us in battle. Today in our world that we live in, we need St. Michael more than we ever needed him.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. And however, before we get to that shrine, we're at this particular.
Well, we're going there.
Yeah, we're going there.
You get me up on the pulpit, then I continue to go on.
But the architecture here was absolutely beautiful, and this whole altarpiece, which is above the altar, was absolutely, this was just really spectacular. And there are a few places that I visited in Mexico City where I have seen something that's very, very similar. And but I was really surprised. Because here we were way out in a village that I hadn't expected. Yeah. You open the door and bingo! Wow, it's so beautiful.
See, there's artisans.
And there's the volcano in the background.
They are true artisans.
Oh,
in Mexico.
Very much so.
Yes,
of course.
So it shouldn't be surprising, other than the location, like you said.
Yeah. Now we're going to walk down to where a well is down here. And Betty, because I was with the camera, I didn't get the whole story, but supposedly she appeared here, and I think was it in a tree
Mother.
Or something like that. There's a picture of her in a tree. I didn't get the whole story on that. So
these things,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and we can see because there's a little chapel right down here. And we see that
Yes,
picture right
yes,
there. Okay,
yes.
all right. We'll have to read up on that. So, but anyway, people wanted to get water from the well, and a lot of people believe that it's sort of a miraculous well. And of course, you can believe that or not believe that, whichever you like. However, I thought that the artwork again down here in this little chapel. Look at the brilliant colors. Isn't it magnificent?
Now, I don't know whether this has been redone for the canonization or not. It looks like they might have restored some of it. What do you
It's possible. Or perhaps the local people in this area, in this particular parish, have probably kept this up, I would imagine, through the
But
years.
it's just so
it is
bright.
beautiful, isn't
and
it?
of course, they did so much of that for this occasion. This was
Yeah.
such a big thing for Mexico
Oh.
to have the Holy Father come, have a canonization, and it's just like they just couldn't do enough to pay homage to the
Well,
Blessed Mother.
I think you're absolutely right, and it was just a very, very special occasion, and I'm so happy that we were able to be there. There you see the nuns there.
There's
and
my
they're-
two gals from Sanger right there,
and they're
Carmen
getting
and Aline.
the nuns are drawing water from the well and getting those who wanted to take some home with them. So it was just it was a wonderful occasion. It was a great place to visit, as there are so many great places. But we did have to hike back up the hill again.
There's always, yeah. Now, this is but if you go on a tour, you have to expect to walk.
Right. Well, that's true. And
Or sit on the bus.
or
What fun
sit-
is that, huh?
Either way. We can see the volcanoes there again in the background. And it was beautiful.
Well, they started to run out, early 20th century. And like I said, they were getting, the water was running out from all the people that were taking it. They were taking it for domestic use. But once again, the priests, bishops, and all of them started to come and pray where the water was, and once again, the water started coming out. Right now, it's plenty of water. Those nuns, gave some of you this water. They said that with a few drops, you can heal just about anything. So a lot of people come here. They have to give you in the when you have the bottled water, they have to give you some of that. I guess you can use it. It can be a lot of that water can be quite beneficial. It can do a lot of good to you. I hope you can use it, and I hope you can find a lot of good things that you can get from the water, from Ocotlan. So that's the Virgin of Ocotlan. Sometimes it looks like Virgin Mary, but it's more like native, from the cultures of the people of Tlaxcala. So you see, a lot of epidemics were brought when Cortés and his people arrived. A lot of people were dying, a lot of epidemics, a lot of things were almost exterminating all the race of the Tlaxcaltecas, which in those days, it must have been more than 200,000 of them. Not only in the Tlaxcala, but in all the surroundings. Because this man, Juan Diego Bernardino, came from a village, Santa Isabel Izcatiopa, which is, in the surrounding areas of the city of Tlaxcala.
Well, Betty, there we see the other well. This one, of course, is where supposedly St. Michael had appeared. And, of course, we're going to take a look inside. There's another church, of course, too. And we can see the statue there of St. Michael right above the main altar, as we see. And again, beautiful artwork. Beautiful.
I was premature. After a while, one church kind of looks like another church when when you do a lot of them on your trip. But this was the one that was really important for me. I got some water there and brought it back to Bishop. He had someone that had asked for some, and I just think the efficacy of St. Michael is so powerful that I was really delighted to go to his church.
Oh, yes, this was a surprise to me. I didn't know that we were really going to go there. And of course, our people, of course, as you can see, are lined up there to get the water again. Yeah. And this one, I think, had a little. Well, you can buy the little bottles there, and it can remind you where you are. Especially if you go on a pilgrimage like that, and you can go to so many different places, you're liable to forget, like you say, after a while.
I still have water left from my last trip to Lourdes.
So do I, in my refrigerator.
Do you? Well, I don't keep it in the refrigerator, but I parcel it out when people write in for our masses, they're sick, so I send them a little bottle of Lourdes water.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you a story about the water at St. Michael. There was a friend of mine that was over, and I had the bottled water out there, and he was suffering from a very, very serious ailment, and he didn't know. He didn't know that.
What it was?
Where
He
what
probably
it was.
thought it was gin
Thought it was vodka.
or vodka.
Anyway, he took some of that, and do you know what? The next week when he went to the doctor, I have to tell you, everything had disappeared. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. I don't know. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible.
Good
So and he didn't
story.
know, and I know, and I told him later on. I said, you should know where that water came from.
People of the NASA, they have enlarged the original size of the face of Guadalupe many times. And you can see through the picture that all the material that the image is on is cactus. The cactus like the one we saw there. This kind of material disintegrates in 25 years. No more than 25 years. And those people have magnified lens, with a circle. You can see in the eye the image of Juan Diego. You can see Juan Diego in the eye of the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe. That's, during the fourth apparition.
Well, Betty, I had heard this, that you can see the reflection of Juan Diego in the painting or the tilma there. Anyway, we are gone back, as you can see. Now, this is our last day. This is Friday, and the bishop, our bishop, is going to be celebrating the Mass here. Of course, this is a few days after the canonization, and these are a lot of the other priests that came along from the various places in the United States, and there was also,
There's
I
Father
believe, another
Tim.
bishop.
We just went by.
Yeah. And here's Bishop. And there's also a young lady who is celebrating a quinceañera as well. So this was a very, very special occasion, and for our bishop to be able to celebrate the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass there in the new, I want to say this is the new basilica. The old one, of course, which a lot of us were familiar with, but this is the new one. I had the pleasure once to be a guest in the home of the gentleman who's the architect of this beautiful edifice, as we can see right here. And there, of course, you see that is the original tilma of Juan Diego, where the Blessed Virgin appeared. We do want to thank our bishop, and we want to thank all of the wonderful people that went with us, and also the other television stations from the Central Valley that went with us as well to the canonization. Betty, you've got a lot of trips coming up.
Yeah, but I would like to also say thank you to Father Tim Gallimore, who helped put this together, and for Father Jerry Chavez, who was there and enlightened all our spirits with his personality.
Right. We
have many people to be thankful for.
Right. So it's time for us to say goodbye. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.